So the stock market has peaked, and we are seeing that it has been drifting downwards, and this past week it's taken some steps downwards. We're going to be talking about retirement plans. We're going to be talking about those of you invested in the stock market, but also how this is going to impact all of us, and some of the things that we can all do to become more prepared financially, as well as getting more prepared for some of the crises that are going to be coming our way. So the S&P topped out on March 27th, so a few weeks ago. And just in the past week, it came down about 4%. The NASDAQ, or the tech-heavy NASDAQ, is down about 6%. A bunch of things playing into that, of course, but gold is actually at all-time highs at $2,400. It has never been more valuable than it is right now. So moving into gold would have been a good option weeks ago, but we're going to talk about whether that's a good investment going forward. Well, we got that and a whole bunch of other things to talk about. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and so this is kind of my old stomping grounds, talking about retirement stuff. I am not a financial advisor, but let's just say as a tax accountant, I've seen the results of people going all sorts of different directions with their advising. And we do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They help people who have retirements to get them more secure, to get them invested in gold or in silver. Am I tipping my hand right now? Or other metals like platinum, physical metals that you can have in your retirement account. There'll be a link at the end of the video that you can get some more, and they're also in the pinned comment down below. All right, so this pullback, the real question is this pullback in the stock market done? Is this it? Or is it going to go down a little more? Or is this the beginning of a market crash? And the answer to that is, well, nobody knows, because it's the future, right? Anything crazy can happen. But we can say that the market should go down. And you say, well, Steve, is that just because you're pessimistic and a negative person? Maybe, but that's irrelevant. The issues are that we have inflation that is continuing to go up, and inflation is not good for the stock market. Now, some people will be like, well, the stock market will go up with inflation. You look at like Zimbabwe's stock market, you look at Venezuela's stock market, and you're like, wow, it did really well. Well, if priced in local currency, yes, but against like dollars, it did terribly. It got destroyed. And so we're going to find that the purchasing power of your investments in the stock market are going to absolutely be devastated. So inflation is bad, and it probably will cause the stock market to come down hard. Because inflation is up, the Federal Reserve can't cut rates. I know people are like, well, the Federal Reserve is going to cut rates so that we can make more money. Well, the Federal Reserve has to worry about those inflation rates, and they realize that if they cut interest rates, it's going to make inflation even worse. And then they're going to get blamed for it. They're supposed to be able to control inflation by raising interest rates. And high interest rates means stock market down, right? And that's where we are right now. The Federal Reserve does not want to cut rates, even though that would help the stock market. Doesn't want to get blamed for causing this mess. They want somebody else to get the blame for that, like the government. Recession. Recession is not priced in, friends. Everything on the stock market is like glory days are here. We're never going to have another downturn ever again. But we're right in the window where stock markets have a tendency to crash when you have a major recession. The recession starts, and you usually get the crash afterwards, after the recession has really caused a lot of damage. And we've been seeing people getting laid off. We've been seeing that we've been in the recession for a while, but the stock market continues to ignore that fact, but it will not ignore that fact forever. And when that starts to price in the recession and some of the economic problems that we're having, when these financial types and these banks and everything like that start to realize how bad of shape we really are in, friends, you're going to see that stock market come down and come down hard. The Federal Reserve doesn't start cutting interest rates until the stock market crashes. That's like a rule, okay? So people are like, this interest rates are going to come down. It's like, no, not until we have a stock market crash. And that means the stock market's going to crash before we have interest rates cuts. I mean, that's just basic logic. Now, I know people are like, this time is different. Sure it is, friends. Sure it is. So we're just waiting for a 2008 type market crash, a 2001 type market crash. We're looking at a major market crash before we see interest rates come down. Is that really where you want to have your money? Is that where you want to have your retirement funds? Not only that, but we also don't have the market pricing in any geopolitical risk. And geopolitics, of course, just, war. War is an extremely expensive and destructive force. Trade doesn't happen during war. Trade falls apart. People lose tons and tons of money during war. Things get broken, destroyed. And that's not being priced in by the stock market at all. And as you look around the world, do you see the potential for crisis? Do you see, we see the Houthis sitting there launching rockets and drones at anything that passes by their little Yemeni shore, okay? They're shooting at anything that moves. They shot at a Chinese ship just the other day. Oopsie. They're not supposed to shoot at Chinese ships, but they shot at one anyway because either they just can't read the information out there or some miscommunication happened or something like that. So they're just shooting at anything that moves. Iran is talking about potentially doing the same thing to the Strait of Hormuz. And then we have Algeria is up there pointing their missiles at the Strait of Gibraltar. Yeah, what could possibly go wrong, right? And then you got Indonesia and, at that choke point, the Strait of Malacca. Then you have the Strait of Taiwan. Like, that's a little bit of an issue, and that's one of the most busy choke points in the world, the Strait of Taiwan. Yeah, a lot of ships kind of go past there. Everything from Korea and Japan heading westward to Europe and to Africa and Asia goes right past Taiwan. Anything heading from other places up to those places, to China, to Japan, up to Russia, up to Korea, all has to go right past there. And that's kind of a little bit of a sensitive spot where people might start shooting at each other at any given moment. So the question is I look at the demographics here sometimes and I notice some things. And most of the folks who watch these videos are a little more senior. Let's just put it that way. A little closer to retirement age or maybe in retirement already. So that probably describes a lot of the folks that are watching them, probably describes you. Now you may be like, that doesn't describe me at all. Okay. But here's the question. Is your retirement protected? That's, we talk about getting prepared with food. We talk about getting prepared with power. But here's the thing is, many of you, your largest investment, your largest amount of money is in your house, and your second largest amount of money is in your retirement account. And you're counting on that money being there. But here's the problem. If the stock market crashes and all your money is invested in the stock market, you may only have 25%, 50% of that left. Is that a possibility? It is. You look at previous market crashes and everything like that, 2008, 2001, a 50% haircut on people's retirement accounts is not going to be, it's going to put you in pretty rough straits. And with the purchasing power of the dollar dropping every year, is that really a good thing to do? It has been just noted that the average house in the 1930s, so like 1930s, the same number of ounces of gold, I forget what the number of ounces, would buy you the average purchase priced house, okay? And then you fast forward up to this year, you take the same number of ounces of gold, it will buy you the average sale price of a house today. You can't say that for the US dollar. And in fact, the houses that were being sold in the 1930s are way, way smaller than the houses that are being sold today. That shows you that gold has not only not lost its value, but it has actually increased its value dramatically. The value of gold has dramatically increased since then because there's only so much gold in the world. There's more people, but the same amount of gold. There's a little more gold because we've been digging more out of the ground, but the population of the world that wants to have a little bit of gold each continues to climb, and the scarcity of gold is deflationary. The US dollar is inflating, gold is deflating. The value of gold is going up while the value of the dollar is going down. That's just simple basic economics. Now, am I suggesting you should get gold? I'm actually not going to suggest you get gold. Now, I was just talking to Jonathan over at Genesis Gold about some of the biggest mistakes that people make with their retirement accounts. And one of the big things is not asking questions about the retirement account. Just trusting your retirement manager to just do smart stuff. And in market crashes, people, their retirement accounts get devastated. They think that their retirement manager is going to protect them from that, and they just don't. And being someone who was in I wasn't during the 2008 crash, I wasn't in a wealth management company, but doing tax accounting, I was working in a wealth management company. We had like the accounting side of it, and then we had the wealth management side of things, and I was over in the tax accounting side. It was a family-owned business, right, with multiple locations, so it's not small. But the thing is, I got to talking to people who went through the 2008 market crash, and you know what? It was a hair-pulling time for them managing people's money because they lost a lot of money, and people were really, really upset about it. But if you had been in gold or silver or other metals, you wouldn't have lost everything. The second thing that Jonathan was talking about was people not asking questions, but also people not paying attention. There are times where it's good to be in the market. There's times when it's good to be in something safe. And if you think that the stock market just coming off of all-time highs is a good time to rotate into precious metals, I think you're probably onto something there. Now, if the market's just crashed by 50%, it might be a good time to get back in the stock market. But will the stock market recover from the crash that is coming? That's a question that I'm not so sure about. Is the time of the United States coming to an end? Is the end of the dollar here? It might be. And you might not want to get back into the stock market ever again. And if so, the best way to get invested in precious metals is in physical metals. Metals that you can actually hold. Now with your retirement account, you can't hold it, but somebody does. But actually getting metal that's yours, purchasing those metals, and then them being held in a safe for you is probably the best way to go. If you don't have money, get your food, right? Get your food. Get food storage. That's where you should start, for sure. If you have your food storage sorted out, that's when you should start looking at precious metals. Now, a lot of you, your money is tied up in your retirement accounts, and that causes some hiccups along the way. You can't just go out and buy metals. I have very little money in retirement accounts because I believe the government's going to seize that, or it's going to do a wealth tax sooner or later. Before I retire, the United States government is almost certainly going to do a wealth tax on people's 401ks, IRAs, all that kind of stuff like that. So I don't trust them, and I don't trust the banks. So I've just not been contributing to retirement accounts. As you can see, what I am actually doing is investing in precious metals. And I say investing, and that's not really accurate. I'm converting my dollars into silver. And I think silver is still the best way to go it is not at all-time highs. Gold is at all-time highs, and silver is not at all-time highs. Silver is still a bargain. They're using this for making solar panels. They're using this to make computers. They're making AI, is actually uses a bunch of silver. I was just talking to a guy the other day. I think that silver is by far a better way to go than gold. The only reason you should go for gold instead of silver is if you have too much money so that you can't physically store that much silver, which I don't have that problem. Maybe you do have that problem, then you should get gold. You can carry a lot more value of gold in your pocket than you can in your pocket of silver. But this is like an $800 or $900 bar of silver. That's pretty compact, right? It's a little heavy. It's a kilogram of silver. I like getting the little kilos of silver myself, but thinking about getting invested in converting your money into a safe haven like precious metals. I think you're going to find that the way China is going, the way the BRICS countries are going, they're going to load up on gold and silver, which is going to make the price of these things go a lot higher, just normal. And then as they destroy the US dollar, we're going to see the value of the dollar drop and the price of gold and silver go up. And comparatively, you're going to see a dramatic repricing of gold and silver in US dollars. That's what I see happening in the future. And that's why I keep saying, protect your retirement. If you have money in your house, in your mortgage, awesome. That's great. That's a good place for it. That's a great place to have value because it's safe and you get to use it. But in your retirement accounts, I think you should be getting it into a safe haven right now because the storm is coming. And when it comes, I don't want you guys to be devastated by that. As always, talk with professionals. Jonathan and his team can give you information and everything like that. If you have someone managing your wealth account, just remember that they make money off of you having your money with them. And they make money off of a lot of the products that they're putting you on, whereas they may not make money off of you switching over to precious metals. So understand people's motivation. If you talk to Jonathan and his team, they want to sell you on precious metals. I mean, they do. I mean, they make some fees off of that, so that's good. Mention this channel, though, and they do waive your setup fees. They're interested in getting you into precious metals. They make no secrets about that, but they do want to educate you and help you understand whether or not it's a good fit for you. So, but your wealth manager is not impartial either, okay? They make a lot of money off of those mutual funds and everything like that you're invested in. They get a lot of fees from that. So even if they're not charging you directly, they're making a whole bunch of money off of you. And that's not wrong, right? I mean, if they're working for you, they should earn some money. But just understand their motivations. When they say stuff, just understand that it's coming from somewhere, right? And take everything you hear from everybody with a grain of salt and ask more questions. Make sure you understand their motives, make sure you understand their perspectives, and then listen to what they have to say, right? And ask multiple people the same question, right? Ask, and you will find out more information. So you can make good choices for your family, for yourself, and for your savings and such. All right, friends, if you want to find out more from Genesis Gold Group about what they can do for you, what it would look like to set up a part of your retirement account over there or all of your retirement account over there, there's a link right here or in the pinned comment down below. There's a phone number down there. If you do call them, make sure you mention this channel so they waive the setup fee. That's hundreds of dollars saved right there. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. If you have more questions, you can pop them down in the comments down below. I'll try to take a stab at things, but a lot of times it depends, right? If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.